Hey guys, last week we had a fun lesson about how we are like jack-o'-lanterns. If you didn't get to see it, I hope you will get to go back and watch it. But the 2 weeks before that, we learned about Jesus being born and Jesus being dedicated. Today we're going to learn about Jesus as a child. But first, I have a question for you. Have you ever gotten lost in a store? Has your mom or dad been shopping and you were supposed to be staying close by, but you climbed under the clothes rack to hide, or you went off to look at something that looked way more interesting, and then all of a sudden your parents are gone? Have you ever been lost long enough that they had to call your name over the loudspeaker? Did you get in trouble? Well, let's listen to our story today because we will find Jesus in a similar situation to that. So after Jesus was born, the wise men followed a star to Bethlehem to find the new king of the Jews. The wise men worshiped Jesus as king, and when they left, an angel told Joseph in a dream to leave Bethlehem because King Herod wanted to kill Jesus. So Mary, Joseph, and Jesus went to Egypt until Herod died. Then they went back to Israel and they lived in Nazareth, and Jesus grew up in Nazareth. Well, every year, Jesus' parents traveled to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. The Passover was the biggest holiday for the Jewish people. Many people traveled to Jerusalem to celebrate and remember when God saved his people from slavery in Egypt. We've learned about those stories before. When Jesus was 12 years old, Jesus and his family went to Jerusalem together. And when it was time to go home, Mary and Joseph began traveling to Nazareth with a large group of people. They didn't notice that Jesus was not with them. They thought he was among the group of travelers, but Jesus was not with the group. He had stayed behind in Jerusalem. Mary and Joseph had been walking for an entire day when they realized he was gone. They started looking for him. They looked among their relatives and their friends, but they couldn't find him. So Mary went back to Jerusalem. They searched everywhere for Jesus. The city was so big, and Jesus was just a boy. Finally, they found him at the temple. Jesus was listening to the teachers, and he was asking them questions. Can you believe that? He was only 12 years old, and he was listening to adult teachers having conversations about God, the Bible, prophecy. Everyone who heard Jesus could hardly believe how much he understood, especially for being 12 years old. When Jesus' parents saw him, they were surprised. Mary said, "Son, why have you done this? Your father and I were worried. We've been looking everywhere for you." Well, Jesus said, "Why were you looking for me? Didn't you know that I had to be in my Father's house?" But Mary and Joseph did not understand what Jesus was talking about. Then Jesus went back to Nazareth with Mary and Joseph. Jesus was always obedient to them, and Mary remembered all of these things. As Jesus grew up, he became even wiser. God was pleased with him, and so was everyone else that knew him. Well, so God sent Jesus to earth with a purpose. Even as a child, Jesus wanted to honor God. He wanted to know more about him, and God blessed Jesus as he got ready to follow his Father's plan, to die on the cross and to rescue people from sin. So today, I would love for you and your parents to discuss today's lesson. I would love for you to think of some questions that you could ask your parents about this lesson. Maybe have them tell you a little bit about what they learned in their lesson at church, in their sermon, and you can ask questions about that too. It's fun to learn about Jesus' life and the Bible. There are always ways that we can apply it to our life as well. I hope you guys have a great week.